welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really interesting shift we've all kind of seen in how we relate to animals.
Yeah, specifically looking at why traditional circuses and, older styles of zoos seem to be fading away.
Exactly. And if you're tuning in, you probably want more than just the headlines, right? You want to get into the nuances.
So we've got this really compelling essay to guide us. It's called Circus, Zoos, Animals, and Us. What Have We Lost? And it's by Dr. Lev Neymotin.
And what's key here, I think, is why he wrote it. It's not just academic.
No, not at all. It stems from his own life, his childhood memories. He talks about growing up in Almaty, Kazakhstan.
Right. He remembers that buzz in the town when the circus came. The excitement. And those zoo trips weren't just like random days out.
They were formative, weren't they? He paints this picture of them sparking his imagination, this sense of wonder about the animal kingdom.
You really feel that personal angle in the writing. It's reflective, maybe a little nostalgic even.
Definitely. And he brings this almost dramatic quality, this philosophical questioning to it all. What exactly did we lose when these things started disappearing? Often, in the name of compassion.
So that's our mission today, basically, to unpack what might have gotten lost along the way and maybe explore some surprising side effects he points out.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Well, Neymotin uses this really evocative phrase, the vanishing tent. It makes you think, doesn't it? When was the last time you were actually in a traditional circus tent?
It's been a while. That image he paints, the breathing canvas, the lights, the music, maybe seeing those big cats pacing, it feels like a memory from another time.
It really does. And he connects this sort of vanishing act, this spectacle that involved human skill and, yes, a certain kind of animal involvement, to broader changes.
And it happened pretty fast, relatively speaking. He mentions Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey closing in 2017.
After 146 years, the greatest show on earth, gone.
Yeah. Now, the official reasons, we know them, right? Falling attendance, high costs.
And, of course, the big one. Public pressure about animal welfare, especially the elephants. That was huge.
Absolutely. But Neymotin pushes a bit beyond that. He suggests it was something deeper, a societal shift.
Like we just couldn't stomach it anymore? Bears on bikes, lions jumping through hoops.
That's the phrase he uses, yeah. We no longer had the stomach for it. It wasn't just logistics. It felt like an ethical line had moved.
Which brings us to this really central question he asks. Was there another option? A middle way? Maybe.
Could we have reimagined circuses and zoos, turned them into places focused on cooperation, on genuine wonder, instead of just exploitation?
It's provocative. His idea that it was just easier to abolish than to adapt makes you stop and think,
It really does. Why did we just shut the door instead of maybe trying to renovate the house, so to speak?
And right here, just as we're thinking about less direct interaction with animals in that public sphere, Neymotin throws in a curveball.
The paradox.
Exactly. The massive rise in private pet ownership. He gives those staggering U.S. numbers for 2023, like 86 million cats, 65 million dogs.
And it's not just cats and dogs, is it? He also points to the increase in people keeping exotic pets, reptiles, primates.
Even big cats sometimes, which seems completely counterintuitive given the ethical arguments against circuses.
It leads him to ask that really direct question. Why ban elephants from a ring but tolerate cheetahs in a backyard?
It forces you to confront the inconsistency, doesn't it? Are our ethics applied evenly here? Or is something else going on?
Well, he digs into the psychology of it. He floats the idea that maybe as our human social bonds feel, maybe more fragile.
We turn to animals more for that emotional connection.
Yeah, pets becoming fur babies, these crucial emotional support anchors. It's a common idea, but he ties it into this larger shift away from public animal displays.
He even kind of links it to those sci-fi anxieties, like from Bradbury or Asimov, about lonely futures and artificial relationships.
And he connects that to the way animals are often shown in media now, particularly animation.
Oh, right. The talking animals. Animals that think and feel just like us, basically. Speaking perfect English, sharing our values.
And Neymotin wonders, well, what's the effect of that? Do kids today feel closer to a cartoon giraffe on TV than they would to a real live giraffe at a zoo?
Does it blur the lines too much?
That's his concern. He talks about losing the majestic gap, that sense of profound difference, the awe you feel when you see a creature that's truly other, truly wild, even if it's in captivity.
You lose the wonder of its actual nature because you're projecting human stuff onto it.
Perhaps, or you just don't encounter its actual nature as much. We might be losing that sense of awe for the genuinely wild, the untamed.
And he argues This shift, this vanishing of the real, has real-world consequences beyond just how we feel, ecologically, for instance.
Right. His point is pretty blunt. Getting animals out of the public eye, out of circuses and old-style zoos, hasn't automatically saved species.
He brings up that uncomfortable idea that species tend to do well when they're useful to humans.
It's a stark contrast, isn't it? Billions of cattle and pigs because we farm them for food.
Compared to, maybe 400,000 African elephants left? Around 4,000 tigers? It's grim.
His suggestion is that when a species doesn't have that perceived value to us directly, its survival is much more uncertain. It's a challenging thought.
He also brings up another loss, one we maybe don't think about much. The scientific loss.
The lost laboratories of nature.
Yeah. Those older circuses and zoos, whatever their flaws, were unique places to actually observe animal intelligence in action.
He mentions things like dolphins learning intricate tricks, elephants painting. These weren't just performances.
They offered insights, didn't they, into how different minds work, brain plasticity, emotion, memory, problem solving.
Absolutely. And in our current age, with all the focus on AI and understanding intelligence itself, losing these playgrounds of cross-species cooperation, as he calls them, well, it means losing valuable comparative data.
So where does that leave us? Neymotin seems a bit resigned, acknowledging that this cultural tide has turned.
Yeah, he notes the shift seems pretty irreversible. Public opinion changed, the institutions are mostly gone, the performers moved on. It's a done deal, in many ways.
But the core tragedy, for him, isn't just that the show's over.
No, it's that in trying to protect animals by removing them from our public lives in this way,
We might have accidentally made ourselves poorer, lost a fundamental connection.
that's the crux of it. That we've unwittingly impoverished ourselves by distancing our modern lives, our intellect, from the instinct and, well, the reality of the animal world.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Neymotin's essay, it really leaves you with that big question. What have we truly lost in all this? It's clearly way more complicated than just animal welfare versus entertainment.
Absolutely. It's something to really mull over. Think about the different angles we've touched on, the psychology, the ecology, the science, that sense of wonder. What's really driving our changing relationship with animals?
And what are the ripple effects? Maybe ones we don't even see yet.
Yeah. And maybe consider this final thought, building on Neymotin. Could this push towards pets as surrogates, towards these very humanized animal characters and stories? Could it actually be a sign that we're disconnecting from the real wild, maybe misunderstanding our own place in the bigger picture?
Definitely food for thought, something to keep in mind as you go about your day. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.